Hi guys, welcome to my channel, the Canada Immigration Compass, where you receive all the information you need in order to migrate to Canada and receive your permanent residency. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my video, and so that you can receive notification as soon as I upload new videos. I have also provided my contact information in the description below, my email address, my WhatsApp number, and my Facebook page. So you can reach me at any time if you need more information. Now today I want to speak to you about the Ontario immigration stream. Now, how this works is that the Ontario Immigration Nominee Program entrepreneur stream is designed to attract individuals who are looking to implement a new business initiative or buy an existing business in Ontario. Now, successful applicants will obtain a temporary work permit with a support letter based on a performance agreement to establish the business in Ontario if the investment and job creation conditions outlined in the performance agreement are adhered to. Entrepreneurs will have the opportunity to nominated by the Ontario Immigration Nomination Program for Canadian permanent residency status. So if those things you have outlined in your application in terms of job creation and your investment is adhered to or fulfilled, then you will be able to get an invitation from the Ontario Immigration, a provincial nomination program, so that you can also get your permanent residency as a result. But initially, you will be given a work permit for you to operate your business. Now, under the Ontario immigration stream, it operates under two phases. I will share what happened under each phase. So under phase one, you have to prepare to submit an online expression of interest. Right? Now, what you need to recognize is that the Ontario Immigration Nomination Program entrepreneurial stream operates on an expression of interest model, whereby eligible participants must be invited to apply before they may submit a complete application. So, as I mentioned earlier, under phase one, you must prepare to submit an online expression of interest. Two, register online an expression of interest on the Ontario Immigration Nomination Program website. And three, prepare an application to the entrepreneurial stream if invited to apply. The fourth thing under the first phase is to submit a complete online entrepreneurial stream application, upload all the necessary supporting documents, and pay the required application fee. The fifth thing under the first phase is to attend a mandatory interview as part of the application assessment process. And the sixth and last thing under phase one is to sign a performance agreement outlining investment, job creation conditions with the Ontario Immigration Nomination Program if the application is approved. Under phase two, the first thing that will happen is that you would obtain a temporary work permit, support and receive a support letter to apply for a work permit with immigration. The second thing under phase two is to arrive in Ontario on a temporary work permit to establish the business and carry out the business plan. Now, entrepreneurs will have 20 months to establish the business in Ontario. And the third thing under phase two is to receive a nomination from the government of Ontario if the conditions of the signed performance agreement are met. The fourth and last under phase two is to apply for Canadian permanent residency with the federal immigration, and this process only takes 6 months. So the Ontario Immigration Nomination Program performs post-nomination monitoring for a period of 36 months following the issuance of permanent resident status. So after you would have got an invitation to apply to submit a complete application, you get your work permit, you reach in Ontario, Canada, and you set up your business. You have 20 months to set up your business, and you will be monitored to see if those agreements pertaining to job creation and investment are met. If they are met, you will receive an invitation to apply for your permanent residency. Now, after you receive your permanent residency, all is not complete. Until your immigration is not finished with you. They will monitor your business for another 36 months to see that the issue after you have received the permanent residency. So they will still monitor you. They will have a post-performance monitoring of you, of your business. So it's not like you can just shut down the business after you receive the permanent residency and do whatever. No, they will monitor you another 36 months after you receive your permanent residency. I guess after the 36 months, you can shut down the business if you want. Now, there are some minimum eligibility requirements for applicants under the entrepreneurial stream. Now, these are in order to make an expression of interest, prospective entrepreneur applicants must, one, have at least 24 months of full-time business experience in the last 60 months as a business owner or senior manager. If the applicant has experience as both a business owner and a senior manager, he or she must choose only one to use for the expression of interest and the application. So you can't use both. You can't use that you're a senior manager and a business owner. You have to use one or the other. The next thing is as a business owner, the prospective applicant must have had an active role in the business and own at least 1/3 of the business. Third thing under operating a business for the last 24 months is that as a senior manager, the prospective applicant must have had senior decision-making responsibilities in the business. So you must be a decision maker. So if your application you're using on your application that you are a senior manager, you must have your position must have allowed you to make some decision making in the business. And if your application is that you are a business owner, you have to own at least 1/3 of the business. It don't mean that you have to own the entire business, but at least 1/3 of the business, and you must be active. And if I may repeat, if your application is that you are a senior manager, you must, in your capacity, would have been able to make some decision. You would be able to be in a position to make some decision, like and execute certain new initiative in the business. It cannot just be you just hold a title and you have no say in what takes place in the business. Now, one of the other requirements is that the business have to have a minimum network, which varies depending on where the business will be located. So it depends on if your business will be in the Greater Toronto area or it is going to be outside of the Greater Toronto area. Then the Ontario immigration will be expecting a particular minimum network for that business. Now, let's go into some further detail with that. For business located within the GTA, Toronto area, applicants must have a minimum net worth of $800,000, that's Canadian. For business located outside of the GTA, prospective entrepreneurs must have a minimum net worth of 400,000 Canadian dollars. So to operate, to have an interest to operate a business within the GTA, you're going to need to have a minimum of twice the amount that you actually need to operate a business outside of the GTA. For business in the digital communication system or sector, applicants must have a minimum net worth of $400,000 Canadian. Another requirement is that you need to provide a third-party verification report prepared by an authorized service provider in order to demonstrate their network. So you can't just provide information or express to Ontario Immigration that your network is at least $400,000, 400,000 Canadians, or at least 800,000 Canadians in order to operate in Ontario. You have to get supporting documents, third-party verification of that. Another thing is pertaining to your network is that you have to make a minimum personal investment, which varies depending on the location of the prospective business. So again, it all comes down to if your business is going to set up in Ontario, in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area, or outside of the Greater Toronto area. Now, these are the requirements under that. Is that personal investment must be made towards expenditures that are essential to the establishment and operation of the business, excluding cash equivalent, working capital, or wages paid to the entrepreneur, applicant, or a family member. Another thing is that the proposed business will be located within the GTA. Applicants must make a minimum personal investment of 600,000. So it's not that. So if you're setting up, if you want to set up a business in the GTA, earlier I mentioned that you need to have a minimum of 800,000. But separate and apart from that, you will have to make a down payment up front, really, of 600,000. So not just to prove that you have 800,000, but you would have to commit that 600,000. And also, if the proposed business will be located outside of the GTA, applicants must make a minimum personal investment of 200,000. Right? And if the proposed business will be in the IT, in the communication sector, applicants must make a minimum personal investment of 200,000 also. Have a minimum equity ownership of 33.3% or 1/3 of the business. For businesses located within the GTA, applicants must commit to creating at least 2 permanent full-time jobs for Canadian citizens or permanent residents. So your business must employ at least 2 Canadian citizens or 2 individuals that have permanent resident status. You have to commit to that. And another thing is that you have to make at least 1 business related visit to Ontario in 12 months prior to submitting the expression of interest if purchasing an existing business. So if you're going to be purchasing an existing business, if that's what your application is saying, because there's 2 ways in which you can do this. Is either you're going to purchase an existing business or you're going to set up a new business from scratch. So if your application is reflecting that you're going to buy an existing business, before you submit or upon submitting your expression of interest application, you must show that you have been in Canada in the past 12 months. So they want to make sure that you're serious. What you're doing, your application is legit. You're actually checking out existing business. And another thing is that you be actively involved on an ongoing basis in the management of the proposed business. So it's not a hands-off approach. You have to be involved in it and not invest in the capital in the proposed business for the primary purpose of deriving interest or dividend or capital gains. So it's not a case where, it should not be a case where you're just investing the money in an existing business where you're going to be getting dividend periodically or capital gain. It must be that you're actually actively involved in the business. It's not just an investment like you're buying a stock where your investment is going to appreciate as the business grow, or you're going to be getting dividend on a periodical basis and you have no involvement in it. I believe a perfect example is like what they're saying. It cannot be like you're investing in a REIT company. So with a REIT, you have nothing to do with the management of the properties, because REIT has to do with property, right? Real estate. So it's like when you don't want to do anything with the managing of the property, you invest in REIT. So you get your money appreciate and you get your dividend periodically. No, what they're saying is like someone actually, like you buy a house for example, and you are actually managing that real estate property. That is what they're basically speaking of. You're going to have direct hands-on approach in it. Also, we're going to look at the minimum requirement for businesses. Now, the proposed business must meet the following general requirements to participate in the entrepreneurial stream. Now, the first requirement is the purpose of the proposed business must be to make profit through the sale of goods and services. 2, the primary income source must be from active earned income, not passive earned income. So as I said, it cannot be like dividend. Dividend is what you call passive income. Third thing, the proposed business must comply with Canadian legal requirements and all regulatory investment and leasing requirements. 3, the proposed business must comply with all Ontario labor law, including but not limited to employment standards, health and safety, and labor-related legislation. Other requirement is the proposed business must be considered a permanent business in Ontario. And last but not least, under this section, the party investors must be the third party investors must be a schedule or bank or an institutional investor. Then you can submit, if you meet all of these requirements, you can submit your business plan. Now, it also note that schedule or the domestic bank authority authorized under the Bank Act to accept deposit which may be eligible for deposit insurance provided by the Canadian Deposit and Insurance Corporation. Now, requirements for purchasing an existing business. Now, any existing business must have been in continuous operation by the same owner or group of owners for the last 60 months prior to the application purchase of the business. So you have to provide proof of ownership and either a letter of intent to purchase the business or sale agreement is required. Now, the purchase must completely transfer ownership from the previous owner to the applicant, his or her business partner, if the application of an third party. The proposed business must not have been previously owned by current or former business stream nominees. Another requirement is that for the business located within the GTA, if purchasing an existing business, the applicant must create 2 new full-time permanent positions for staff that have permanent residency in Canada or citizenship status. So also the proposed business plan must show how the applicant intends to grow the business, and also at least 10% of the minimum